Very cool. Going from first starting out as an LP and learning how to do due diligence as an LP, and then a few months later having an opportunity to go on as a co-GP, what helped you in doing due diligence both as an LP and then later on as a co-GP to decide that, hey, not only am I going to invest my own money, but I feel comfortable enough to have my friends and family invest alongside with me?
My first criteria is vetting the sponsor. What do I mean by that? Yeah, you can get all the paperwork from them, giving you all the deals they've done. And they're basically just going to tell you all the right things, right? And that's not enough. So I am grateful to be not only in Houston, but to have certain relationships from people that I've met, like Trevor, for example. In some of the deals that were presented to me, I asked Trevor and I said, Trevor, what do you think of this
Hmm.
guy? And until this day, I've not done a deal with that guy because that group, at least from Trevor's experience, didn't give him the best experience. Because it doesn't, a lot of us started around the same time. And I remember Trevor and I, we all started around that time frame. And it's interesting how some people treat those that are newer. They don't give us enough information, perhaps, or if you're not really investing all this tons of money, they may not really give you that, not just the information, but the help. And so I am more leaning towards those that are like Tim, open to information. And it's more, let's figure it out together versus, you know what, I know this and I'm not going to share it with you. And so when I vet the sponsor, even for the first deal, for example, people that I have met through different events or meetups, local meetups. That's why I invest locally because I get to talk to people. And a lot of these conversations are not done in front of the stage. They're done during coffee meetings, lunch breaks, right? This is like friends. This is how friends would communicate. So for that first deal, I asked some of my friends, have you
Hmm.
invested with them in the past, either as an LP or GP? And some of the things I got, for example, Leia was the other one that I had talked to because she's here in Houston and they were an LP in this sponsor's previous deal. Or for some of them, maybe they were also co-GP in their other deal, and I would get a recommendation of they're very good in the reporting, they pay on time, and they're just really class act. So those are the words I want to hear. The other thing, here's a secret. You want a shortcut? I'll give you one. And I didn't learn this until later on. If there are other owner operators that are investing in that deal as a passive investor, that's a good sign, meaning they're not a KP, they're not a GP, co-GP, right? They're basically other owner operators. And let's just say they're
Hmm.
investing their own IRA money in that deal. That's great. So I come to find out because I was the newbie in that group. I have other owner operators that's never raised capital for anyone else, only for their deals that had raised capital for that. But I come to find out that in that deal, there were other big owners, operators,
Hmm.
5,000 plus units that were passive investors in that deal. So I was like, all right, that's a good sign.
Yeah, that's really good. That's a really good sign. And yeah, and whenever you're investing in properties that are local to you, another advantage is that you get to drive the property, you get to tour the neighborhood, like you get a really good feel for that investment. And I always favor investing locally over out of states type of investments. Anytime that I can drive to a property and drive around the neighborhood, like it's just help with feeling safe about that investment. I love the homework that you do in talking with other operators, other LPs, because those are the kind of homeworks that we can't get from textbooks, right? We can crunch numbers all day long, but being able to learn from someone else's experience is invaluable. And I love that you knew to leverage that very early on. So share with us your experience. It was your very first raise. How much did you raise for that deal? And then yeah, share with us like some of the lessons that you learned, some of the challenges that you that learned from that raise.
Great. Yes. So when I was asked to join the team, I wasn't even ready. I was like, again, I had no business cards. I was like, I'm just starting to learn this. But I had to make a decision because I know that whether I join or not, that ship was going to sail.
Mm,
And so when I vet the sponsor, I knew that they're all great. And I've done my due diligence on that side. That same day when they called me, even though I think it was like 4 o'clock, I drove to Sugar Land. I live in Cypress. So that's like from Northwest all the way to southeast of Houston, traffic. But either way, I drove to the property, checked it out, started talking to the tenants because then the leasing office was closed. And then I found out that the bus stop for school was right there and that these families are very happy. And I just wanted to get a feel of it. So I said, all right, that's good. And so, you know what, out of blind faith, I was like, I'll just join. Of course, they gave me at least $1 million to raise. And I didn't know how that was going to happen because some of my friends from New Jersey, New York, didn't even know I moved here. I didn't talk to, this was after COVID, right? We just moved August 2021. I didn't really know who was going to invest. I didn't even know if they knew about real estate syndication, but it was just, I knew that the group was great. And I know that my potential investors are very savvy people. So I'll tell you, my first deal, I talked to about 40 people through, and these are not all phone calls. Most of them are texts. My text would say something like, hey, it's Andrew, we haven't talked. And I just wanted to reconnect that. But I was tied with time because by the time they talked to me, they were already closed. Like they gave me basically 6 weeks, right? And so I said, you know what? I have nothing to lose. If I don't work it out, then it is what it is, but I gave it my best shot. So in my text, all I asked them is, are you looking for passive income, tax savings, or creating like generational wealth or building equity? I think were my three. And then I just tell them that I'm investing as well, $75,000 in this deal, right? And these are the returns, okay? And then some of them would be like, okay, yeah, send me some more information. One guy was like, yeah, sure, sign me up, 100K. So that first deal, out of about 40 people that I spoke to, I raised 1.285, so almost $1.3 from 8 people, including myself. I only put 75K. I'll tell you one thing. On that first deal, I had one guy wrote me $500,000.
Wow.
And I knew why, right? So this guy is a classmate of mine, plastic surgeon. And I almost didn't talk to this guy, right? Why? Because I was like, I've been to his house in New York. He's wealthy. Like he's a grandfather already. He doesn't need the money. At least these were my limiting beliefs. I almost didn't talk to this guy. But then I said, you know what? I committed to raise at least $1 million, right? And your track record is really contingent upon how you perform in your first deal. So I was like, you know what? At least I could ask. If I don't ask, that's at least 100% no. If I ask, at least I have a 50-50 chance. So I did ask. Okay, so let's just say I asked on Friday, exactly what I just told you. That's what I texted him. I didn't even call him. And he was like, send me the deck, right? I sent the deck, and within 3 days, he said, I'm investing 300 to 500K. And I was surprised. I was like, I guess this is how it's supposed to work. And then I come to find out that he started talking to my other friends that were already investing. And so that's how I started with my first one. And I'm so grateful for them because I felt like they're like my lucky first group. If these folks probably didn't invest and I didn't have a good experience in my first one, I probably won't have the next 7 deals. But that first one, I went all out. Not only because I was investing, but I really believed in the project. My sister invested, right? And it's not bad at talking to 40 people or so and getting about 8, including myself, to invest in the deal. And only my sister and I live here in Houston. The rest weren't even here. They never saw the property. And I come to find out later on, that guy, the doctor that invested $500,000 in my first deal, he used to live in Sugar Land. And I didn't know, there's no way I would have known this. When he was doing his residency, he used to live there. So you see, you just gotta talk to people. Because then you know what? That group are also the most grateful group or like investors that I have, even with him, right? Because then you know you're solving a problem for them, right? They have no idea how to save money on taxes, right? Especially if they're in New York, they're probably for that bracket, they're paying 50% of whatever they make back to Uncle Sam. And so you're solving a problem for them. So just feel, you know what, you're doing them a favor because you are. It's a service that we provide.